Welcome back to NewsX World. I'm Pia and you're watching Focal Length, where we get you a briefing on topics from across the world. Now, as the crisis in Gaza deepens, Hamas demands a halt to Israeli operations before releasing the hostages. Now, questions are arising on whether Israel should concede, as recognizing Palestine gains support. U.S. opposition to West Bank annexation is now signaling a warning as well, while Trump's pressure on Netanyahu to apologize to Qatar spotlights Doha's mediation role. To talk about all of this, joining us now is Major General Yaakov Amidror, former Israeli National Security Advisor and Senior Fellow at the Jerusalem Institute for Strategic Studies. Today, we discuss long-term solutions to the Gaza crisis, Hamas's hostage demands, Israel's dilemma on halting operations, West Bank annexation consequences, recognizing Palestine, and Qatar's mediation role. Thank you so much for joining us, Major General Amidror. My very first question to you is, do you think there is a long-term solution to the Gaza crisis?
Well, when you heard probably Trump and Netanyahu's, the Prime Minister and the President, speaking in the White House, and if the offer which had been prepared by the Americans will be accepted by Hamas, the war in Gaza can be ended, and it will begin a process of bringing back the hostages, then disarming Hamas, then rebuilding Gaza. It's a slow process, but it will have a very cohesive beginning and understanding, and that might happen and should be happen if Hamas accept the offer of the Americans.
All right, sir. In your assessment, what is the possibility of Hamas releasing the hostages?
This is part one of the whole process, of the whole plan. It will be the first test for Hamas, the first test for the American plan, and the first test for the Arab and Muslim countries which are backing the United States president in his offer. So that will be test for everyone, Hamas, the Americans, and the supporters of the plan in the Arab and the Muslim world. Let's see if that will happen. We will be more than happy.
And sir, Hamas has maintained that unless Israel does not halt its military operation in Gaza, it will not release the hostages. Should Israel accede to this?
There is a plan on the table. According to the plan, the first stage is releasing the hostages, not stopping the war. Of course, if Hamas accept the plan, a ceasefire immediately will be there, but this is not a prerequisite. The prerequisite is the agreement of Hamas to the plan. And if Hamas agrees to the plan, a ceasefire will be put on the ground immediately.
And so we've been seeing nations, particularly European nations, now recognizing Palestine at the UNGA, whether it's Britain, France, or Belgium for that matter. I wanted to understand from you, are you in support of recognizing Palestine?
No, I think it's a hollow decision. There is no Palestinian state. There are no borders for the Palestinian state. There is no Palestinian government. And the Palestinians have to make very, very, very long way to be less corrupted, to be more efficient, to get rid of Hamas, which was elected by the Palestinians, by the way, and so on and so forth. Before that, the whole idea of the Palestinian state cannot exist, because no one can guarantee that if a Palestinian state will be built somewhere in the Middle East, in the West Bank, in Gaza, this state will not be controlled by Hamas. And I'm sure that you don't expect the Israelis to agree to a state that might be controlled by Hamas.
And to add to that, we've also recently seen US President Donald Trump stating that he will not allow Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to annex the West Bank. What would be the consequences of Israel's operations in the West Bank if it takes over?
No, it is not. There is no any connection between the annexation and the continuation of the present situation. We didn't annex but Jerusalem from the West Bank. Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, as you know. We annexed the east part of Jerusalem, and it is part of the capital of Israel today. We didn't annex any part of the West Bank, and probably will not do it in the future if and when the American plan will be accepted by Hamas. If the plan will not be accepted by Hamas, it's a new game ball, and we will have to discuss this with the Americans, and maybe one of the reactions to the refusal of Hamas will be annexation.
Recently, we've also seen that US President Donald Trump has pressurized Netanyahu to apologize to the Qatari leadership for Israel's airstrikes on Doha. Israel maintains that it was targeting Hamas officials, but there was a Qatari official that also lost their life. Israel also has stated that Netanyahu did not apologize, but has merely expressed regret. Is Qatar's mediation in the Gaza peace talks acceptable to Israel?
I think that it is in the interest of Qatar to mediate in Gaza. Qatar is a very little country, very rich, but very little country, and they are buying their position in the world by mediating between two parts, and it is their interest to mediate in Gaza. Now it is not question of mediation. Now they have to convince Hamas to accept the plan, which was offered by the Americans and accepted by the Qataris. It's not mediation anymore. It is just to see how strong is their influence on Hamas. If there is any value to continue the relations with Qatar, it's their relations with Hamas. It is we don't Hamas leadership to stay in Doha. We don't want them to stay on earth. And if Hamas is not going to take the offer of the Americans, I'm sure that Israel will find a way how to eliminate the leadership of Hamas wherever they will be.
Indeed, as you've put it, the ball is in Hamas's court at the moment, and Donald Trump, in fact, pledged to staunchly back Israel if Hamas does not accept this plan. I'd like to thank you, Major General Yaakov Amidror, for taking out time and speaking to us on Focal Length. With that, viewers, it's a wrap on this episode of Focal Length. For more international news and updates, stay tuned on NewsX World.